Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and we're taking a look at a different topic from what we normally cover on the channel. When it comes to next-gen gaming, I'm usually out of the discussion outside of the actual video games. When it comes to technology, I don't like to get too involved because while I know how things are supposed to work, I don't really know the ins and outs. Like, I couldn't sit here and tell you why Z2 architecture will change next-gen gaming, but I could talk a little bit about the games themselves and when a company makes a good or a bad call, quite honestly. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about how I personally believe that Xbox has shot themselves in the foot. Now, this comes from an interview that I'll have linked in the description down below if you'd like to read the whole thing for yourself. It's a good read, but I want to highlight two major quotes that have led to a very interesting discussion in gaming. So let's get it started. This comes from Matt Booty of Xbox. As our content comes over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down that family of devices, Booty explains. We want to make sure that if someone invests in Xbox between now and Series X, that they feel that they made a good investment and that we're committed to them with content. Of course, the company will still be wanting to show off its new hardware to best effect. Our approach is to pick one or two IP that we're going to focus on and make sure that they're there at the launch of the console, taking advantage of all of the features. And for us, that's going to be Halo Infinite, which is a big opportunity. It's the first time in over 15 years that we'll have a Halo title launching in sync with a new console, and that team is definitely going to be doing things to take advantage of Series X. Now, if I were a betting man, I would guess, and the more exciting one for me personally, is that the other game taking advantage of Series X specs is going to be Fable 4, which, man, you guys have to be ready because I'm going to be covering that game so much. I am so looking forward to Fable 4. My body needs more Fable. But let's get back on topic here. Let's talk about why I personally feel that Microsoft is shooting themselves in the foot with this comment. Is what they said here completely untrue, that they're going to be releasing games across all platforms for multiple years? No, not at all, right? Because we saw that last generation when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out. Everyone expected an immediate hop, but it was a slow transition. It was a good number of years before things started to launch exclusively on the PS4 and Xbox One. A big reason for that is, of course, you don't want to, as Matt Booty said, abandon your current player base in a sense, because it forces transition and then you lose out on both ends because these consoles are going to be serious investments. What they're essentially doing and how they're shooting themselves in the foot is they're speaking of a business strategy that does not, in a sense, need to be put out there. If I'm Microsoft, I want as many people as possible after the beginning of last generation to buy into my vision in this generation and to essentially tell people right off the rip, hey, pretty much a lot of our games aren't going to take full advantage of the Series X and we're going to use the more underpowered Xbox One to make sure it's compatible with those games, I think puts them at a disadvantage and instantly shines a spotlight on what Sony's going to do. And naturally, like I said, things will be the same for them. Not every single game coming to the PS5 is going to be exclusive to that console. We're going to see a lot of PS5 games that are released on PS4. And I also want to make sure when I say shooting themselves in the foot, I don't say it in a negative way where I'm saying, how could they do this? I think it's great that they're committing to their current player base, right? I think it's very good that Xbox wants to support the players who are there, who have to wait, save money, maybe aren't prepared to invest, maybe aren't convinced to invest. Now, while I'm absolutely a consumer-focused channel, you guys know that I'm always talking for the consumer, trying to back you guys up. What I'm trying to do is put myself into Microsoft's shoes. Let me explain a little bit more on the game front. Imagine if Fable 4 gets announced, right? I just used that as an example earlier of something I'm really excited for. What would instantly put, I don't want to say a pin in that balloon, but really kind of deflate me in a manner would be if Microsoft came out on stage and said, yes, this is coming out on our original Xbox One. It's also going to be available on Series X. Right then and there, it plants that seed of thought just naturally based off this statement from Matt Booty here that Microsoft could have done more with this game. Does it take away from the merits it accomplishes? Does it make it a worse game? Is it a bad game instantly? Absolutely not. But from my perspective as a consumer, I instantly know that this game isn't going to be pushing the bleeding edge technology of a new console. I think that's where my line of thought comes in on why I feel they're shooting themselves in the foot, because there could be certain games out there that are going to be announced inevitably that I go, dang, man, could have been a little bit more. And there is that weird lull in between a console generation skip, right? We're going to have the year after the console generation skip where we're still seeing PS4 games, even though it's 2021, and people are going to be like, what's going on, man? Where's my support for my new console? It happened last time in 2014. We had a couple of exclusives here and there. These things do take time, but I imagine this time around there's a bit more of a strategy. But ultimately, I'm just thinking from a game standpoint. That's why I think it's a shot in the foot, because I know there's going to be a lot of that this coming E3, and I think it might take some time for it to sink in. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with what I'm saying in today's video. I would not be surprised whatsoever, but I think there's going to be ultimately, come these next-gen discussions, when Sony inevitably comes out and says they're doing the same thing, we'll get into that in a little bit, that there's going to be a lot of disappointed folks. For me, it makes me go, well, what's the difference? I could buy an Xbox One for $150 after Series X launches, and I'll have access to everything that the Series X will have access to for a number of years. And when things start to go exclusive, that's when I'll hop on board. Where if PlayStation has an approach of you can only get this, this, and this if you buy the PS5, I think it would push more people in that direction, at least based off what I experienced with the beginning of last generation. I will say this much, when it comes to Xbox, if they have Halo Infinite and Fable 4 at launch, they kind of got my purchase already just off software alone, because those are two games I absolutely want to play. Obviously, we don't know what Sony's going to be doing. If I were, once again, a betting man, I'm a lot of times a betting man today, I would definitely say they're probably going to do Horizon Zero Dawn 2. That would definitely be my prediction for them. Outside of that, who the heck knows? Maybe new IP. I hope to God it's not another Knack. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just a short conversation about why I feel Microsoft maybe didn't take the best approach here. I think that it's good they're supporting the family of consoles. They didn't do anything bad in the terms of acts. I think speaking about it, though, hurts them more than helps them. I think it's not exciting to know that only a small number of games will end up taking full advantage of the Series X, even if it's the truth for your competitor. Once again, is it information that has to be out there? It's one of those where if you're in the company shoes, right, and I'm not really advocating for this, but I'm more so just speaking from their point of view, it benefits them more to keep us in the dark, really. So as a consumer, I'm happy. But anyway, win, loss, up to you, of course. These are just my individual thoughts. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below, so fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Do consider supporting my Patreon, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.